There are some circumstances in estrangement that go way past the norm. There are boundaries that can easily be crossed by our own alienated children, and Harry's behavior has certainly crossed many of these boundaries, long time ago in fact. The fact is, often estranged children are fueled by one parent who's busy planning revenge on the other one, or in the case of Prince Harry, it is his wife, not another parent. Narcissists are famous for using their kids. They'll brainwash them. And a partner can do the same. A partner who is delusional, that is, and also wants to get revenge on somebody. So they will encourage abusive behavior that's aimed at the other parent, or in the case of Harry, his parents. It is easy to cross the boundaries of a narcissist, and so then they think it justifies going no contact, like verbally or physically abusing the said victim, or lying, or humiliating the intended victim by telling other people about private information. And narcissists know how to use emotional weapons to keep their victims obedient. It is all about control and power for them. By using ugly, evil tactics to achieve mayhem and chaos, tactics to get back at the delusional enemy, brainwashing, encouraging mental abuse, physical abuse to the intended victims. That is not normal behavior. The fact of the matter is, there is not a single person out there who deserves abuse or horrible behavior just because they dare to stand up to a narcissist and tell them no, and they're always promising to get their revenge. And although Harry has definitely played a role in this whole mess, it is more Meghan's fault than it is his. She was bad news from the very beginning. She got what she wanted though, and at the same time, she didn't get everything she wanted. She wanted Harry. Well, now she's got Harry, but I do not believe that having Harry is everything she thought it would be, because Harry doesn't have access to nearly as much money as Meghan thought, and now everybody around the world is laughing at them. In some ways, I do feel bad for Harry, but he made his choice. He is a grown man. I don't care if intellectually and emotionally he's still a little boy. He technically is a fully grown adult, and he's going to have to live with his choices. I don't believe that William and Catherine and the rest of the family are going to ever forgive him, especially if he keeps on staying with Meghan Markle. The Queen tried to make peace with Harry, but she wasn't going to play the long game, as claimed by many people, as an excuse for not doing anything about Harry and Meghan's evil behavior. In fact, she was just hopeful that eventually maybe a reconciliation would be possible. I wouldn't be surprised either if she made Charles vow to try to reconcile with Harry. And this could be the reason why Harry and Meghan are holding on to those titles, and it seems like they're just getting away with all their shenanigans. I'm afraid that this misbehaving is going to continue until Charles has learned his lesson and finally understands he has got to listen to his advisors when they tell him that, considering Harry is married to a narcissist, reconciliation is simply not possible, and unfortunately it probably never will be. Sadly, for Charles to do nothing about the situation, to just leave everything up in the air, is going to harm the monarchy in the long run. And if Harry really is so happy, then why is he making a living by attacking his own family, the people who gave him such an amazing privileged lifestyle? He cannot be happy. I mean, that's impossible. If he and Meghan really were happy, then they would be content to just live the private lives they claimed that they wanted. They have taken things too far this time, though. The people of New York City are never going to forget what they did. I mean, they're a couple of idiots, and they're also beyond redemption to put the residents of New York at risk just because they wanted more exposure for themselves. Oh, here we are with our photographers and our makeup artists and security along with us. We need your attention. After all, we are royalty, don't you care? Well, no, Meghan and Harry, nobody cares. They are just pathetic. Nobody cares who they are. They are ex-royals, and they are yesterday's news. They're a couple of egotistical a-holes, and they were never in any real danger. Nobody was chasing them. Nobody cares about them enough to chase them, especially in New York. People are just too busy working hard and minding their own business. They're a couple of cockroaches, and they need to stay far away from New York. I just wish they would disappear so that we don't have to listen to their BS ever again. They really think they're worth a lot more than they are. The only people who believe that, though, are they themselves, and what tiny little fan club they may still have, which I think is not much. Honestly, the police should charge them for taking up their time, and also there was a good possibility they were going to hurt other people just to get their staged play on Netflix. That's all they did in that little skit for Netflix. And we already know Meghan has a history of calling up the paparazzi to request that they come and take photos of her wherever she's going to be. That way she can convince herself that she really does seem important. Harry was born into the royal family, so that means that his destiny was really not like the rest of ours. His destiny kind of was already laid out for him, and independence was simply not in the cards. Harry has no idea how to be independent. He's already burned all the bridges back to his family, and the king always referred to him as my darling boy, as if he knew that he probably was a bit different. But after all he has done, it is time for him to be cut off forever. No titles, no money, and no, Meghan cannot return to the UK ever again. That needs to be the bottom line of my darling boy. The thing about being alienated is you simply don't know where to put the boundaries, and they really do need to be there. Harry's got too many enablers, too many codependents, and too many flying monkeys around him. If he does anything wrong, there are people to cover up his mistakes, to rewrite the narrative, and give him more attention or soothe him. He has a crowd of people who permits him to be himself, to use whatever drugs he wants, to drink a lot of alcohol, and fight with either men or women. These people don't care about him. They do not have his best interests at heart. Instead, they only care about themselves. It's a very selfish group of hangers-on, beggars, thieves, criminals, people who have Harry on speed dial and just want to take advantage of him. And Harry will agree to basically anything. He's incredibly gullible and pretty naive. But Harry has some other problems which he despises more than anything else, and these problems are his father and his brother. Well, his brother doesn't want anything to do with him anymore, and I don't blame him a bit. I admire that William is so willing to put himself, his wife, and his children first. He is loving his brother from a distance, because that's the only way it can be. I do wish, though, that Charles would allow Harry to finally face the consequences of his actions. That would help him to grow up a lot. He needs to live independently, and Charles needs to withhold all financial support or assistance for Harry and Meghan. I do hope that he can stop trying to be this peacemaker and just stop taking up for Harry. I understand maybe Harry is his favorite, but Harry has done too many horrible things. The king is still sticking his nose in Harry's business, especially about the divorce, if there is going to be a divorce, that is. There are reports that Charles and Meghan are negotiating the split in the marriage, Meghan's official departure. The truth is, his father acts a lot more like a husband to Meghan than Harry does. Let me give you some examples so you know I'm not making this up. So Charles gives her money. He pays for her clothing. He pays for her traveling all over the place. He gave those titles for the children, and he has also taken the place of her father, whom she wants nothing to do with. Now, the truth is, Meghan has a pretty rich older man, the king, and he's still interested in her, for all the wrong reasons if you ask me. But unless Harry starts to accept adult responsibilities, he's always going to be a little boy. He's always going to be demanding attention from other people, and he'll always be trying to compete with his father or his brother. See, he wants the entire world to find out about how he really is this victim. Even though he has millions in the bank, he's still so poor. We need to know all about his poor eyesight that was induced by street drugs or alcohol or his conquests. He uses this lens to understand his world. He is incredibly paranoid. I think this paranoia was always there, and the drugs made it a lot worse. And the thing Harry wants more than anything in life is to make Meghan Markle happy because he believes she is the reincarnation of his late mother. So essentially, Harry despises his brother and his father because they also love his mother. So he creates this new Diana, Diana 2.0, with Meghan playing the lead role. She has eyes, though only for his brother and father. She doesn't care a thing about him. Harry has not burned this bridge yet because Meghan, the Diana 2.0, is his own creation. But the bridge is still standing thanks to the frantic efforts of his father, who does still love his darling boy, Prince Harry. He is not going to let his darling boy have a chance to grow up, to experience reality, and to make his own mistakes and learn from those mistakes. If you ask me, Harry is a lost soul. Now, personally, I think at this point, William really does despise his brother, and he should. That is actually what is so upsetting to Harry. He thought that his stupid book Spare would bring the family to some kind of summit, and they would talk about what a tough life he has had and apologize to him, and how he's owed over 1 million apologies from basically everybody he knows. Well, of course that never happened. I suspect they never even read the thing, and of course he never had such a meeting. Harry is doing precisely what he wants to do, which is why he destroys everything that he touches. And I agree, he should have all titles taken away. He should be ostracized. He should be kicked out of his own family, and they should ignore him forever. That's just my opinion, of course, but I have some good reasons for feeling that way. Harry is so spiteful, he's vindictive, he's a little coward. He's already shown us what his priorities are, he only cares about Meghan. So alright then, Harry, you and Meghan can go off and live somewhere by yourselves, happily ever after. Just please don't bother the rest of us ever again. People also need to stop saying, oh, Charles cannot do that. It's going to give them more reasons to claim their victims. Who cares about that? Who cares if they accuse the royal family of being racist? Let them cry racism. Let them pretend to be victims all they want. They have already shown that they're a couple of liars. It does not matter what they say anymore.